Good morning. Good morning. How are we doing? Well, today we're going to talk about a choice point. You know what a choice point is? Well, stay tuned and we're going to find out what a choice point is and how we can use it in our life. So, how's everybody doing this morning? It is September 2nd. Oh my gosh, September 2nd. And let's see, Apple Watch says 70 degrees, so looks like it'll be a nice day here in the Kansas City area. How's the weather where you are? So if you're on today, say hi. Let me know where you are coming in from. And yeah, we're going to have a really interesting show today. I've been really thinking a lot about, excuse me, this topic and really excited to kind of just share some of my initial thoughts of some pretty big, profound stuff. So it's going to be exciting. So, anyways, my name is J. Scott McMillan. I am a coach and I'm author of the book Be the Hero of Your Life, and I help people get unstuck from their lives when they've been successful at some points, but they've hit this sort of stagnant, stuck area in their life. I help them get some new perspectives. I help them take their hero's journey and give them the courage to face their fears and to find their purpose and live their wonderful, fulfilling life. So today we're going to talk about choice point. We're going to talk about some pretty big stuff that I think is changing, that's happening in the world. And if you're on again, say hi, say uh, where your location is, and if you could share this out to your friends, that would be great, because we're going to talk about a really interesting, pretty big topic today. So first thing though, let's find out. We got a couple things. I like to start show off with a little bit of news, a little bit of inspiration. So the first thing I like to do is show what I call the meme of the week. So let's say, so I shared this on my Facebook page this week. I am in love with Brene Brown. I just think everything she does is so amazing. Uh, she put out a big blog post this week about having courage in the face of criticism and love. So I'll just read it. I'm here for my purpose. I'm not here to make people comfortable or to be liked. My purpose is to know the experience of love. This means excavating the unsaid in the world and in me. And what she was saying was that people will tell her to just stick to being a professor and the data and don't give her political opinions and so on. And she's like, look, I have a purpose, and I am going to express that. And so I thought it was really good. If you can check that out on my page. I think it's on both my personal page and my business page, because it was a really good post about how to stand true to what you believe in. So that was really good. So let's see what else. How are you guys doing? First, I got my coffee. Today I have my. So you can see this. Let's see, turn it around here. This is my Wisconsin Starbucks mug. My son went to law school. Yeah, in Milwaukee, and so I got this cup, and I'm very proud of this cup. So whatever you're drinking this morning, coffee, tea, or water, whatever. Excuse me. Today I'm actually having, and I'm not real fond of it. It's too sweet. I ran out of coffee, so I'm having. It's a Khalifa. I think that's how you pronounce it. Mocha cappuccino kind of a thing. I don't know. I heated it in the microwave, so not the greatest. But soon I will be at my Starbucks. I will have my nitro cold brew and my venti black iced tea unsweetened. So life will be good. What else we got going here? Well, okay. So this is special. So 8 days to football. 8 days until football. And of course, I'm in the Kansas City area, and well, we've got the world champions here, and so we're really excited. And I think from whatever you can say of all the controversy and about sports and about football in the past, the stuff that's going on in this world and sports being canceled, and some of it's kind of coming back, but it's not quite normal. Football, I don't know. Just I think it's just I'm more excited this year than I probably have in a long time, and I just miss sports, but I love football, and I think they're going to let some fans into the stands, which I think will be interesting. Hopefully they will social distance. They say they're going to, so I'm excited to see how that works out, and I just hope and cross my fingers that they can get the season in with no problems, because I think we need some football. So on that, I wanted to show just okay. Where did it go? There we go. No, not that. Oh, here we go. Ah, gotta get the right screen here. I gotta show you this. Okay, hold on. All right, ready?
Garoppolo to throw, pass is tipped. Damian Williams trying to get to the edge, breaks a tackle, stays in bounds, touchdown! The Kansas City Chiefs are champions.
It's a beautiful trophy, and I can't think of a better conclusion to the 100th season of the NFL than receiving this trophy.
Hello, Chiefs Kingdom. We did it! Raise the flag of a champion.
Sorry, I had to do it. Oh, that was kind of fun. They got to raise the flag and they got their championship rings yesterday, so that's kind of special. So I thought I'd throw that out there. So what do you guys what's going on? Anybody have any dying, burning questions, topics that they want to talk about or bring up? I mean, we're going to talk about, like I said, Choice Point. Probably not even sure what that is yet, but it has something to do with obviously about making a choice on where we're going to go in the world. So I'll get into that in a minute, and then we can, we'll stop for questions in a minute. First thing though, I like to show just a bit of news, something either inspirational or I don't know. Today I found something. I'm enamored with science and space and spirituality and the connection. And today we're going to be talking about all of that. And so I found this article about space, and let me share this over here. And this thing called the Phoenix Cluster out in the universe. And so here's a picture of it, and I'm just amazed at the pictures we can get with the Hubble telescope. I think this was the Hubble, but it could have been another telescope. But this is and I highlighted some stuff in here. This is a ancient cluster of galaxies at the dawn of the cosmos, the most distant ever found at 13 billion light years away, suggesting that the dark skeleton of the universe existed at a time when the cosmos was only about 800 million years old, or 6% of its present age. Things like this just blow me away. This is a picture of so far back in time that the galaxy, the universe, the cosmos was just in its infancy, just beginning. How can we possibly see that? I almost can't wrap my head around it. It says that in the universe we see today, there are clusters of galaxies that encompass hundreds of members of galaxies, including tens of massive galaxies. Galaxies! How can the universe is so massive? That's the thing that it just blows me away. That not only is just the universe and the cosmos just so massive, but we can actually, with our science and our technology today, see back, I don't know, 13 billion light years, 800 million years ago. Oh my gosh. So I just bring that up because I'm so fascinated about the connection between spirituality and science, and how no matter really what your beliefs are, if you believe that there's a creator, a higher power, and that we're now, with our technology and our science, we're being able to explore and see and show the things that well, since the dawn of time, people have been trying to figure out their lives, and they use myths and stories and religions to help figure that out, right? And there was no, they didn't know, they didn't have the science and technology. So a lot of what they were worshiping were stories and myths and gods that they didn't really understand, but they figured that they had control over the earth. And now we know through science what we're finding out. Science is catching up to all the spirituality, and it's actually proving out a lot of what people knew all along about energy and about the vastness of the universe and the spirituality, that we're all connected. They knew that then, and now science is starting to prove that out. And so I don't know, things like this just amaze me. And so, anyways, so what's a choice point? Well, at its basic level, what we're talking about here, it's a term borrowed from physics, and it's really simple. I'm going to make it really simple and try to dive in, but it's basically just a branching, it's a forking. It's like what we would think, right? That it's a point of possibility. And, we all make choices. And the key thing here is that if we make the same choices that we've always made in the past, then we're going to choose the road that probably has the same problems, and maybe only on a bigger scale. So obviously, okay, this is very simple, basic stuff. By the way, if you're on here, say hi so I can see you. I see a couple of people on, but I don't know who's on, so say hi. What else? So we have these choice points at time, and we can choose one road, or we can choose another one that leads to a better path, right? To a better world, better, with more peace, with more fairness, more education, more harmony. And the way that the world... Crystal, how you doing? Oh, thank you. Yes, well, hopefully we will meet, Crystal. Glad to see you on here. Yeah, today we're talking about an interesting topic. This is big, and I definitely want to reach out to you, Crystal, and talk to you about this, because I'm trying to reach out to different coaches and spiritual teachers, and just to talk about what I want to talk about today. And this is really the first time I'm even opening this up, just because it's so vast, I'm not even sure how to get my head around it. But we're going to go through a little process here so I can open this up. But so we're talking about a better world, right? And our worlds are built along cycles. So our hearts beat cyclically. We breathe in cyclically. Our DNA strand is a spiral. Hey, Paul, good to see you, buddy. Glad you could make it. Thanks. So we live in this world of cycles, for sure. And these choice points, they basically are the difference between the end of one cycle and the beginning of a new one. And obviously, at that point, you have a choice point, right, before the new one begins. Now, this is basic stuff, but I'm building up to something. So we've had these choice points. They've really been, for 5,000 years, there's actually been one major choice point that was 5,000 years ago, up to 2012, and this was the whole Mayan calendar situation where, the Mayan calendar ended at 2012. But this was called the Great World Age, and at that point, the world could then move into a whole new, direction. And that was a major one. Each of these cycles in the past have typically been preceded by catastrophic events and changes, usually in the earth, climate change, different changes in the earth. And we've had, these mass distinctions before, 5 mass distinctions before. And so we've had these big cycles in the earth. And of course, these physical changes on the earth, also personal changes in the humans and the plants and the animals that have lived on the earth. So the question is, how do we respond to these challenges of this changing world? And now, I believe that this is a major time for a choice point. This is a major time for a choice point. So how are we going to do this? Are we going to continue to go down the road of fighting and divisiveness, or are we going to come together in cooperation and listening to each other? So I believe that really what's happening now is this huge indication of this choice point. We're coming to the end of a cycle. And like I mentioned, we have this choice to do something. The writer Barbara Marx Hubbard, I don't know if you've heard of her. She was a sort of a socialist or philosopher, futurist, I'm going to read this. She said, and this was written in 2011, I believe. I think what is unique about the time on the planet Earth is that we've hit a global set of crises: pollution, overpopulation, climate change, global warming. All of these things together could lead to a collapse of our civilization. Now, she believed that if we didn't change something, this was 2011, and of course, this was all leading up to this big choice point of 2012, that we couldn't be sustainable, on our Earth. So now this year, and I remember reading that and hearing about that, and then I realized this year, well, okay, we still have all those issues, right, that she talked about, that we're still working on, that are still issues that are bubbling. Yet now we add this pandemic on top of that, and an economic depression. A depression. Not a recession, but a depression. Social unrest that we haven't seen, in decades. And then you throw in some murder hornets and, some crazy hurricanes. And we got some crazy shit going on this year, right? It's some wild. So this all together, if this isn't a choice point, then I don't know what is. This is a time that the universe and the world is telling us there's change going on. So my question to you is, are you going to ride this change? Are you going to use it as a catalyst to do something, to change for yourself so that we can change the world? Or are you going to sit in fear and be ruining your health in the meantime? Because we know that fear and uncertainty just wrecks our immune system, which we know now is we've got to take care of ourselves better than ever before. And so the fear and the uncertainty, I get it. It's real. And I understand that it's not easy. But if we could come out and look a little bit at a higher level and realize that this is an opportunity for all of us individually to figure out who we are and what we can change into for the better, and how then we can help the world change and make some changes. Now, I know this is big stuff, and this is why I hesitated how to even do this, but I thought I'd been called so much in this last week to just connect with people and to get this message out. And you can kind of tell it's a little bit nebulous. I'm not sure what this all is about, but I know that the world is changing, and I know that I'd rather take this opportunity to ride that wave of change into something much, much better. And I feel that the world needs this now, and that we need to figure out how we can collectively come together to make this happen, because people have been trying this for a long, long time. I mean, Barbara Marx Hubbard and Greg Braden, Harry Massey, there's a whole bunch of different authors that I've read on some of these topics about conscious evolution, and they've been working on this, and we're still, struggling. How can we finally use this time, which, they've all said at different times in the past that this is the time of change, this is the time of change, that, this is our choice point, and things still are going, in my estimation, not in a great way. So how can we finally get the message across? What can we do? How can we lock arms and go forward? So that, is any of this making sense? Is anybody have any comments on this? I know it's kind of out there. I've got some more to talk about it, but let me just check in and see if y'all still with me out there. Or if I've lost anybody. Probably have, but I think this is really, really interesting time, and it's so divisive, but I can, you can tell that there's some good things that are bubbling, right? I mean, the social unrest that's going on right now is, it's hard, but it's really bubbling, and it's really needed. And I think what was interesting was, at the time when, last weekend when they celebrated the March on Washington with Martin Luther King, and how that was such a time for change. That was an interesting choice point that we moved forward, certainly. And then we've come forward, but clearly not enough. And then now is another one, another time, clearly, because of circumstances and whatever, it's bubbling up and it's massive. And, but it's not going to get fixed, in a day, a week, a month, a year. It's going to take a long time, but let's keep the pressure on. But I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about our political structure. I'm talking about our environment, certainly social issues, economic issues. I don't even know, stuff that's just way beyond me. Stuff that's I'm just like, but I think what I'm feeling is this time to connect and to talk about this stuff. And in this most unique time when we're all now connected over the internet and through these lives and through Zooms and whatever, what an interesting time, because now we're all embracing that and how we can get together pretty darn easily, right? I mean, instead of having to go to meetings or fly places or whatever, we can talk to people all over the world in a second. And let's use this opportunity to connect. So I believe we're on the cusp of this massive transformational change. And, it's changing whether we like it or not. So are we going to just get on board, use it as a catalyst to change? I think it just makes a lot of sense right now to do that. The other thing is, with our technology and our science now, we are in the best place ever to make the massive changes. We really have the technology there. The question is, do we have the wherewithal within? Can we come together within to use our technology and our science and our spirituality? I mean, I think people are waking up spiritually more and more, better and faster than ever. So we've got all this stuff in place. We just have to somehow get it together and focus it. And I think the key is we got to know ourselves better. We've got to know who we are and what we stand for. And if we're willing to just get out of the fear. And this is such a fearful time, but I think it's time that we focus on moving forward. Excuse me. And it's time for us. It's time for our families. It's time for the world. And clearly, if there's this much on the line, our world, and the way Barbara Marx Hubbard talks about this, I mean, this is mass extinction at some point if we don't get this figured out. It's a pretty big deal. So let's take the time. Let's get this right. And I think it's going to happen through, or at least it can start there, through these sort of grassroots collaborations, entrepreneurs and thinkers and thought leaders and light workers coming together. And people have been doing this before, but they've been struggling culturally and politically. It's not easy to make this massive change. And and then we're going to all run into imposter syndrome. I know I do. It's like, well, who am I to talk about this or to do something? I don't know. Why not me? Why not you? Why not? With the technology, how hard is it for us to get on a couple Zoom calls and start talking about this and start connecting something? Like I said, I don't know what this is going to turn into, but I just felt compelled to get this out. So, what we learned? Let me just sort of recap a little bit here. So, a choice point is a time when one cycle ends and a new cycle begins. It's a window of time that we have our choice, and it's a potent time. It's a time where the choice is magnified. And I think that's now, right? We learned that we're in an age of a huge choice point now. We learned that we have the opportunity to change. We have the right people. We have the right technology. We have the right spiritual awareness. And we learned that we can't sit in our fear right now. And that it's time to do something. And that by collaborating and getting teams together and starting to talk about this is something that I'm wondering if anybody wants to, do that. And so I'm just throwing this out here. So basically, I don't know where this is going to go. It's not like I got all this figured out. This isn't really my thing at all. But I'm throwing it out there. And, you can reach out to me and we can start to connect with other people. I've reached out to a couple people. I haven't actually, this was the first time that I kind of coalesced my thought process on at least what I am understanding now. I haven't really been able to do that until now. So I've reached out to a few people, different coaches and what I call light workers to just, connect some way. So now that I've kind of, I've gotten connected here, or at least I've focused a little bit. Maybe we can, get more specific. You missed the big message. You missed the big message. Well, the big message is this is our time to change. This is the big. This choice point is ride the wave of change or sit in fear, and we can't sit in fear. And I don't know what it means to going forward, but we need to get together and talk about it. And so I'm just reaching out to people that want to talk about this. And I got more details if you want to do the replay. But basically, this is the time to use the wave of change. Ride it. Use it positively. I'm really only touching the tip of the iceberg here. Like I said, I've been reading about some of this. Greg Braden, Barbara Marx Hubbard are really big into this. There's a whole new book. Hold on, let me grab this here, because there's a cool book that actually I just started to read last night. Where is that? Evolutionary, Our Moment of Choice, Evolutionary Visions and Hope. And it's a compilation of a bunch of different authors. And I think this book is going to be right connected to this too. I'm trying to see here if it's yeah. So there's people that have been working on these issues, talking about this stuff for a long time, and there's momentum in here already that started. So it's can we tap into that or create our own? I don't know. So yeah. So anybody on here have any ideas about that? Anybody have any questions? Anybody interested in that? Think that's a good idea? Probably a little bit too nebulous. I will continue to research and follow up on this. If you connect with me, whether you want to get involved or not, you'll be able to follow along. I'm going to start to write about this and coalesce the idea a little bit more. And but really, it is this time of choice. This is the time to act. The time of now sitting in the fear. We've kind of been in this pandemic long enough that even though there are still lots of unanswered questions, I think that our bodies and our we're getting used to it a little bit, and so hopefully the fears die down a little bit. Even though I know that with people are still getting sick and dying, I get that, and the thing with the schools is so hard, but we've been in it now, so I think that we can. Just continue to meditate, continue to deep breathe, continue to do the things that are healthy for us, that keep our immune system strong, and to be in a state where we don't have to be so fearful that we can start to take baby steps into something more. And so what I'm saying is this is the time now to go forward, to do something different, to talk about it, and to make sure that we're not going backwards and that we're not sitting still, and that the things don't get worse. That we've got to really take a stand now and not just sit around and wait. It's time for us all individually to take a stand and to make some changes. Yeah, Crystal says moving beyond duality. We're all connected. And I think that one of the things that I remember feeling, oh, you're late to the party, Sandy. Well, the party is I'm almost over here. But I'm talking with Crystal here a little bit, and we're just talking. I mean, the basic issue here is that it's a time of change. We can either sit in fear, or we can use the time of change as a catalyst to change individually and change the world. And we're talking about everything being connected, and that oh, Sandy, you made me squirrel, and now I can't remember what I was going to say, which is a funny joke, inside joke for us, because both of us, that happens. We see a comment and we're like, oh, thought process gone. Anyways, yeah, so Crystal, say a little bit more about that, about the moving beyond duality. So I think that's fascinating and interesting, and definitely for me, that's about how we're all connected, and how I realized that early on in the pandemic that it showed us that, right? That we're all the same. We all get the virus, no matter our skin color, eye color, hair color, race, ethnicity, the way we talk. We're all going to get the virus the same way. So we're all the same. We're all connected. That's on a basic level. Not to mention that literally everything is connected via energy, right? So yeah. I mean, there's so many different directions we can go with this, and it's such a big topic, and that's usually not my thing. I like to stay kind of focused and in my little wheelhouse, if you will. But I just felt really compelled to just like let this out, and I had been starting to do a few of these lives, but I had no momentum or whatever, and then I joined this Facebook Live challenge where we had to go live every day, and they gave us a topic, and we went live in this little group where it was sort of safe and we could practice. We went live every day, and it was really interesting. And Sandy was a part of this, and it was just fantastic how everybody learned so much about themselves and about what it means to be vulnerable on camera, and how I like to use all the tech. I like to use some of the music and the different things. It's fun, but that when we get really authentic and vulnerable, that's what connects to people, especially through live video. And so just going through that process and then starting to do these Wednesday Hero Life Hump Day lives every Wednesday, it just seemed like the appropriate time to do this. So it's just a really interesting time. You'd have caught me 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, I never would have done this. I never would have thought I would have ever done anything like this. So Crystal says, if we focus on purifying our intentions, duality becomes the catalyst of divine truth. Duality is a viral perception that perpetuates fear. Yeah, and that's the key, is the fear. I talk a lot about the hero's journey, and really the key to the hero's journey is for us is moving past the fear. Every character we see in the movies is paralyzed by fear before they go on to the fun journey of conquering whatever treasure they have to find in their hero's journey. They have to get past the fear, and we all have to get past the fear in our lives and just about everything. And when we're talking about something like this, in the pandemic and all the social unrest and everything, and that me against you and black and white, and just man, the fear is palpable. We could feel it. So, yeah, totally get that. Boy, that one was intense. If we focus on purifying our intentions, duality becomes the catalyst of divine truth. Purifying our intentions. Yeah, so purifying is an interesting term. Crystal, have you ever studied, or Sandy or anybody else on here, have you ever looked into alchemy and the study of the alchemists and the alchemy theories? That's something I'm going to be talking about in my new book. And this topic too. This is all part of my creative process in coming up with my next book. And it's just now trying to explore all these topics. And alchemy is interesting because it talks a lot about the alchemical process, and a lot of people think of that, these alchemists creating gold out of copper or something like that. But there's a whole philosophical concept that uses these principles, and it really is about purification, right? Now we can use those principles in our life. So I'll be talking more about that later, but that's pretty cool stuff too. Fear comes from attachment of control. And the whole thing about Facebook and about us and them, and how everybody is using their own bias to push their points across. There's great things about social media, and there's just crazy not great things. And I'm not going to say one way or the other, but everybody's simplicity of being able to just throw out, your attachment to whatever your view is, your bias is, and put it out there is sometimes disconcerting. But that's the other thing we need to discuss is how can we wrangle that together a little bit? How can we're not going to change human kind, and these are things that we've struggled with as humans forever, but we've got so much potential with our technology and our spiritual awakening now that, man, we ought to be able to make some progress. So yeah. Well, anyways, I could go on and on, but this stuff, like I said, is a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I'm glad I'm pushing forward here. But I'd like to, talk to more people about this and just get some more ideas and solidify this, because it's just a lot to it. And so I usually am not going to be this open in my my Facebook Live. Open as in the topic. I mean, this is a big, grand topic. Usually I like to get a little more granular and focus. But this was just really calling on my heart, and I wanted to get it out there. And just really for nothing else to just spark some interest and see where it goes. So that's about it, everybody. Alchemy. I'll talk to you. I'll give you a book, Sandy, on some stuff about alchemy. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fascinating. All right. Well, thank you for joining. Please pass this on. I know this one was a little bit different, but go back and you can catch my other Facebook lives on my Facebook page. It's out on YouTube. Actually, I'm streaming to Twitter, YouTube, a couple different Facebook pages, and I'm just testing all that out. Actually, I'm trying to get people to connect via YouTube. Maybe I'll ask some of you guys next time to connect to YouTube to this stream instead of Facebook to see, because I'm having troubles a little bit connecting it to YouTube and seeing the comments from there. But anyways, so appreciate you checking in. Share it with your friends. Let's see where this goes. Thank you, Sandy. Appreciate that. Let's see where this goes. Let's see if we get momentum. I'm going to be learning more about it and pursuing it, and we'll see. So until next time, have a great week, everybody, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.